Hey, what's up, y'all? I chatted with Ryan Stewart of Miami-based Webris.org. We talked a little bit about SEO, what you can do to get ranked fairly quickly for a small business with a small budget, what goes into actually getting ranked, and we also had a chance to talk about some other things outside of SEO if you care to listen. I didn't record it correctly, and I started too late in our conversation whenever I did, so when you watch this, you're going to see us jumping right into the conversation, and I was asking Ryan about his glasses that he was wearing to block out the blue light on computer screens, since he and I stare at those things literally all day. Check out this video.
Caution, just because I've read a lot that it does help you sleep better at night and that type of stuff. But if in terms of me seeing a notable difference, I think it's tough to tell. You know what I'm saying? But it's $8. I figure I might as well.
Is that how much they are on there?
Yeah, I think I got these on Amazon for like $18. You just pick them up on Amazon. They're all buying it from China.
Yeah, I literally just got an ad the other day because my wife and I were talking about it. It's like one of those things where you're talking about the stuff and then it comes up. I had some weird stuff happen with that.
Crazy, right?
I was talking with David Schloss about that, but we were talking about, what were we talking about? We're talking about like, I was doing a shoot and this guy was talking about Sasquatch and like how he travels through dimensions, and I was just kind of like going with it and listening, and I was telling my wife about it, and then we were talking about it, and she starts getting these like Sasquatch sponsored posts in her feed of like Yeti stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something else. It was just way too odd. And then we literally just talked about glass. I've never had an ad before for glasses that block out your screen for digital stuff, and literally just got it today for movement.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get them on my phone, but my girl gets them all the time. Like we weren't even really talking about it, but this natural cleaning product that I just bought on Amazon from my account. And literally 2 minutes later, she was getting her Instagram story ads from that exact brand. And like, she didn't even really like talk. It's crazy, man.
Sometimes they do that from Wi-Fi from the same location.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I don't even think people know the full extent of how much our phones are listening to us and playing. I personally don't really have a problem with it as an advertiser, but like I'm also thinking too, because I actually did like a test on it with her like 6 months ago, and I was tweeting about it, and people were like calling me paranoid and shit. I'm like, you guys don't understand, man. Like I'm not making this shit up. Like we're talking about like Old Spice like deodorant, and then like 20 minutes later she's getting Instagram ads for it. I'm just figuring out like, is that, I don't know if the platform is making those available for like bigger media buys. You know what I'm saying? Like I've only been getting them from big brands, so I'm assuming they're spending a lot of money. So maybe it's not like a self-service option. If they're spending a certain amount with Facebook, then Facebook opens up new targeting options for them or something. I don't know. Or Facebook's just doing that and not really letting us as advertisers or consumers know, which is a whole nother. I mean, they're already in enough shit that it feels like a massive invasion of privacy. But at the same time, like, I looked into it a little bit more, and whenever you sign up for a Facebook or Instagram, you give it access to your, it's like you give it access to your camera, to your audio, to everything in order to post. So, I mean, I know for a fact it's listening to us, a fact. I don't think people really want to admit it, but it's crazy, dude. Really is crazy. Don't know how it's legal either.
I mean, I guess it's because like, you're signing up for something and you're explicitly giving it, you're explicitly
nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. Yeah. Nobody reads the terms of service.
Yeah. That's the only way I could think, but I'm sure that the Oculus and other stuff, they're probably, I don't know. I would think that it would be leaked, honestly, by people internally, just because there's such strife with it, with privacy laws, and
that's what people are saying, man.
A lot of people in Silicon Valley are very left leaning, so I could just see leaks or Reddit.
Yeah, that's what people were saying. People were like, "You're being paranoid. Like, like these are public companies, they have to disclose that." I was like, "Do they though? Like, you can't tell me that there's stuff that like Google and Facebook are working on that like people don't know about." I'm sure departments. Yeah, dude. I mean, they're huge companies, and when you're publicly traded and there's that much pressure on you, like you do what the fuck it takes to make money, And I'm sure that there's a small faction of people within the company. Like I know for a fact that Google works on like secret projects that they don't share with people because they don't want that information being leaked to the public,
Yeah.
Not for privacy reasons, but because it's a new algorithm, something like that. So of course they do it, man. And I don't blame them either. I don't really like we're idiots for opting into everything without checking. So it's like people bitch about it, but it's like, if you have a problem with this stuff, using your phone, Like, you're not going to do that. So shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, Apple's got that like campus that looks like a spaceship out in California.
Mhm.
So you can't tell me that they don't have like some sort of like underground hidden wing or just something there that's like the top secret stuff that they work on.
Of course they do.
You've been following much of the markets at all?
I mean, I've been reading headlines a little bit here and there. All my investments are for the long term, so I'm not really pressed about it at all. You know, pretty much every account that I have in putting money into the market is for retirement, so I don't sweat it at all. I actually, selfishly, I'm looking at buying a new property, so I'm actually hoping that the markets will take a little bit of a dive, so that way the house prices will take a tumble with it.
Yeah, same here at the end of the end of this year. So I'm hoping for the same thing, especially since 2008 things like really went bad and there's like a lot of deals to be had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a specific real estate bubble. Here, I'm here in Miami, and like real estate prices keep on going. Like, it's crazy what they're asking for like a house built in 1938 that's 1,000 square feet with 2 bedrooms. It's crazy. So, but the prices here keep on rising. It's just going to be interesting to see if and how the markets end up taking effect on the general economy. Like, that type of stuff doesn't necessarily affect us on a day-to-day, but if this continues, it absolutely will, in terms of, you know, what clients are willing to spend. The first thing that always goes is contractors and agencies, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it could get very dark. This is what people have been saying for a while. It's just one of those things where, you know, as an entrepreneur, the only thing you can do to plan for it really is keep as much cash as possible and just wait it out, you know? But it's inevitable. It's the price of admission to playing this game, you know?
Yeah, it's for sure scary. If they start, you know, pulling back and all that stuff, and then pull back on agencies and advertising spend and all that stuff, because people aren't traveling. They're not going to Disney World anymore. They're not taking flights. They're not getting gas. And there's just like this like big trickle down effect. And then eventually it comes down to like products and people just being nervous to really spend it all, and everybody wants to hold their cash because they don't know.
Yeah,
I obviously don't think that'll happen because I mean it could. It's like I was reading some other thing about how all these different kinds of CEOs have been stepping down, and it's been like you know, kind of like, okay, are they all stepping down because they know of something happening and they don't want it on their watch, and so they're kind of like bowing out before it occurs? Or, I mean, is it just like the natural cycle, like, you know, Bob Iger, but a bunch of others. If you look at, I think it's like LinkedIn, Bayer, Salesforce co-CEO, just a bunch. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it could get very interesting. You know, the market is definitely very bad right now, and it depends on, you know, it really depends on what this virus is going to do too, you know. Again, I'm not too worried about it right now, just because of anything outside of my control, I try not to worry about. But yeah, it's definitely not like officially on my radar though. Like I was just planning at the end of every year, you know, I plan for kind of like cash. I'm at the point in my career, thankfully, where, you know, I've got a good amount of healthy profits left over, and I'm able to invest it in different things. And I just, you know, had a meeting with my financial advisor 2 months ago, and we were talking about, you know, me buying property and the potential of the market crashing. And he was like, honestly, he's like, there's no signs of any sort of recession coming up. He's like, the only thing that I would say is watch the coronavirus, because if that thing continues at the pace that it's at, then like that could get, you know.
That's what I'm worried about. Is really that being the catalyst. Where I thought there was going to be a recession, honestly, starting last year when there was a dip, but we came out of it. But it does seem like everything is just like it's such like a high. Even all the Amazon, all the FANG stocks, everything's at such a high. Everybody's just like looking for the market to correct. But again, with the 2020 election and Trump trying to get reelected, I could really see him pushing for some type of package to spurn the economy, to increase spending. And I feel like that won't happen with him, especially because he's so vain, and he's like, he's got a lot of buddies that, you know, are in the markets too. But I don't know. I really don't see it happening. I see it just like a correction. But then if the coronavirus does get really freaking crazy, then I think it'd probably be like inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable either way, right? And I agree that this is definitely, everyone's been kind of like looking for signs of a recession, and this has kind of come out of nowhere, and it's happened quick too, man. We're talking like 2 months. Within 2 months, it's had this much of an impact on the economy. So imagine as it continues to spread, it's again, like if this would have been 3-4 years ago for me when my company was still kind of in a volatile position, I would be scared shitless. But
Yeah.
it is good if you are kind of an established business and you're able to run lean. If it does happen and you're able to run lean and stay open, then as soon as things turn around, you're going to be in the best position possible to explode in growth when the market does turn around. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of fake entrepreneurs out there, especially in the agency space. Like, thank you, Ty Lopez, for teaching everyone about social media marketing and advertising. Now, like, everyone's got an agency. You know what I'm saying? So the market's saturated, and I also feel like there is a correction needed to just kind of like wipe the bullshit out of the market.
Yeah.
In our space, anyways. I can't speak for the entire market, but for our space.
No, there most definitely is. I think it's like, running Facebook ads has made it so dumbed down easy for anybody with a graphic and a Fiverr account or something to run an ad and maybe even get some like mild success selling something. And it's like, holy shit, I got a sale. I got 2 more sales. I got 3 sales. And it's like, it starts to build that like confidence up. But even like business owners, like you start a random business, like I'm doing drywall. I run ads for drywall and I don't know anything about Facebook ads, but there's enough kind of like self-guided creation things and videos online that I can kind of get an ad up and have some mild success. I think a lot of people have got that and seen it, and whether it's their own business or maybe somebody they're just helping out with, they get some success and it's like, damn, this is easy. I'm gonna start an agency. I'm gonna run this thing, and I don't really need reporting or anything else. So yeah.
That was SEO, man. When I've been doing SEO for like almost 12 years now, but like 7 years ago, I'd say is when like SEO really blew up because it was just so easy to get results. And like anyone that could build a WordPress website, put some keywords on a page, basically anyone who could build a website and then figured out how to like use backlinks for SEO gain, like all of a sudden had an agency. But then Penguin came out. Penguin was like basically the market correction. Penguin algorithm came out and just wiped out all that shit. And then like it opened up the market massively for legit agencies. And that's why we're still like, I've been kind of trying to get out of the agency game for forever. But like once you're an established agency in SEO and people trust you, like they come at you with money. You know what I mean? Like they just keep coming to us with money. So it's hard for us to get out of it because and now too, if you know what you're doing and you're able to charge top dollar, it's incredibly lucrative. Like our margins are crazy right now. So yeah, the same thing is happening with Facebook ads, but I feel like once there's a market correction, then it'll open back up for the people who really know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think with SEO versus Facebook ads, if you do find somebody who's vetted, qualified, well spoken of in the SEO world, I feel like that's like that's way more of credibility versus like because an agency like a Facebook ad agency, I feel like they can still kind of fake it until they make it or whatnot. But on the SEO level, it's such a long-term game. And it's like, you can wait sometimes like 4 to 6 months before you really start to see results for whatever business you have, depending on your spend, that, some people don't want to spend 4 to 6 months paying somebody, even like on the low side of like maybe like $2 or $3 grand, spending like 4, 6 months spending that just to be in an even worse situation than they are, find out they got like shitty backlinks. They're getting like sandboxed by Google, and like it could cause like way more problems. So it's kind of like you're all in or you're not in at all. So if I was to go all in, it would be somebody that's reputable. Or by the way, you're I didn't even introduce you on here. I'll just do it now, and I'll have my editor cut it up. What's up? This is Andrew here with Ryan Stewart of Webris.org. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, Andrew?
All right. So I was going to ask you about Webris, the .org part.
Yeah. Tell you all about it.
What do you go .org versus .com?
Because when I bought it back in the day, like the big thing was buying expired domains because they had like existing equity.
Yeah.
And I did the research. I thought I was doing the right research on that domain, thinking that I was buying it with a lot of equity and like kind of ranking power. But and so it was a .org website, but like as soon as I bought it and then I like started doing, and I already like launched a website on it. I was just kind of stuck with it pretty much. So I bought an expired domain, long story short. And now it's just grown into such powerful, like ridiculously powerful website that we've just kind of wrote it out. The .com was just never available too. So
Yeah. It's like super hard to find unique names with .com now. I mean, you have to like pay at least like $2 or $3 to get even something random.
Yeah. Yeah. My ex-business partner used to be like obsessed with getting the right domain name. I think it's like a little bit overrated. I think it depends on the space. I think for agencies, it's a little bit overrated. Like, you know, I know a lot of people that don't even don't even have a website that are making, you know, over 10 million, barely have a website making 10 million a year in revenue from an agency business. So it's different if you're like a software company. If you're a consumer facing company, that shit is really important. But agencies, a little bit overrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can get by with a .o. I wouldn't suggest a .org to be honest with you, just because people assume that, like, I can't tell how many times people have asked, they're like, are you guys a nonprofit or something? I'm like, no, why? They're like, because you have a .org. I'm like, no, that's not what that means.
I just assumed it was something with like the authoritative link value or something like that or whatever.
Yeah, I was a kid and it was a bad business decision. You know, it's worked out for me. Like I said, because I don't think from an agency point of view that the domain extension is really that important or worth investing in. I think if you can get the .com, obviously go with the .com, but like, I think .io is like kind of just as cool right now, you know?
Yeah.
There's no SEO difference too. Like, people want to say that .com has more SEO weight. It doesn't. It's the same shit.
I'm kind of I don't know. I'm picky on my names whenever I launch something, and picking the right name, and then making sure, hopefully, that you can get, you know, the Instagram URL, you can get the Facebook URL, and it's all branded, just because I like to have it. I don't like to have, like, you know, underscores in there or just other stupid stuff like that. So I do try and always get it's like at least like 2 name domains, and if I can't, then it's like you add like a color to it.
Yeah.
Like aqua metaphor, and it's like an agency or something like that, or just some aqua tubular, or names that sound whatever. But yeah, dude, it's hard to come by those names.
I actually think the social handle is actually just as important, if not more important than the domain name. Like, especially on Instagram, you know, it's just because of the nature of how people are using and searching Instagram. You know, a lot of people are actually going in and typing in like your exact name if they're looking for you, or just searching, you know what I'm saying? So like, if you do have one with like my biggest pet peeve is when people put like 8 underscores in like front of their name just to get like, so it'd be like Ryan, but it'd be like 8 underscores Ryan, you know what I'm saying? It's like, people can't find you like that. But domains too, I mean, there's things that you don't do with domains. Like, you don't want to use hyphens. You always want to keep it as short as possible, you know? But like I said, I mean, especially if you're just getting started, I just don't think it's worth the investment to pay like a couple $1,000. I think once you get to a certain point, like, so our other agency, we rebranded and we spent like 10 grand on a domain. And I was okay with that, just because we wanted to get, like, we were at that point, you know, at that point, it was a good brand investment. But like, I don't know, man, I'm just a big fan of cash flow before anything else, you know, like, make money and then figure it out.
100%. And even like some of those companies like Google, I mean, it was probably like a weird name at first, or even like Ahrefs, but like once you start building that up and the proof is in the pudding in terms of the service that you offer,
dude,
kind of like turn into your own thing. Like, I mean, like your own name, Webris.
Yeah, to me, brands aren't defined by logos and colors. Brands are defined by the value that they create in the market, you know? The product, the service, the support, the content that you provide, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff. You can make shit cool, you know, if you're providing value in the marketplace. But at the same time, there are some really stupid brand names that just go the other way, you know what I'm saying? So as long as you're not in that part, then you're good.
So if I'm starting a website, and if I ever do e-commerce, I'm always going like Shopify, just because it's like the gold standard. I don't mess with WordPress and WooCommerce. It's too complicated.
WooCommerce's ass. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. When we have clients that come on board and we have to run like catalog and feed ads and all kinds of other stuff, like WooCommerce is just a nightmare to deal with. But so like if I have somebody who's doing lead generation, on the other hand, I feel like WordPress is like the gold standard, and that's what you should kind of build off of. Everybody's opinion is different, but like if I'm a business owner and I'm going to be running my own website as like a service provider trying to generate leads, do you like WordPress, or is there another platform that you're a fan of?
I'm all WordPress myself. All of my websites run on WordPress at the moment. My partner is not. He thinks it's a little bit slow, but to me, again, it's just like I like to get things up and running. I mean, I'm pretty good at getting like initial brand going, but just like speed to market is so key for me. Like I'm not going to sit around and wait for a more advanced platform when like the website's getting 2 visits a day. You know what I'm saying? Like WordPress is just so easy to get up and running. And on the contrary, it's not like a Squarespace or a Wix that like might have some sort of negative business implications. Like WordPress is built to make, like, you can build $100 million company on a WordPress website if you know what you're doing, so
Yeah.
it scales well with certain things, especially like a lead gen, a service-based business, and like anything like that that's going to be less than 200 pages. For you though, I get what, like, Shopify is way better just because of the integrations and like the things that it just actually comes out. Like WordPress has plugins, but I agree, like our training company is on WordPress, and we're like quasi e-com. We don't have a full cart functionality because we push to a subdomain for checkout, but we do have products on the website, and we've been trying to push them to Facebook. And it's just one of those things where it's just not even worth it because it's so much of a pain in the ass to try and sync a WordPress website with the product. Like in Facebook, just if you're on Shopify, Facebook, like, hey, you're using Shopify, like just click here. You know what I mean?
That's like a big thing that I explain to everybody who's like, hey, we're thinking about WooCommerce or Shopify. There's another company that I'm chatting with that they sell a lot on Amazon. They're super heavy on Amazon, and they're wanting to reduce their reliance on Amazon and spread out their bets. And so, they're looking at WordPress, and they're also looking at Shopify, but they do their front-facing website does sell direct to consumer. And so I'm all for Shopify because every time we do a website with Shopify, one of the biggest things is passing along all that data back to Facebook. And when you get screwy things going on, even on like an About Us page where it's not, 100% necessary, but you might want to make a lookalike audience from the About Us page because those people might have higher intent in figuring out who your brand is. But being able to pass the value parameters on each page, on each kind of item, and it's just like, boom, like seamlessly that's done on Shopify. You don't have to worry about it. It just always works. With WordPress, you don't get that. Sometimes you have to, I use Pixel Your Site for a plugin to handle all that stuff with ours when it comes to the lead gen stuff. It's pretty straightforward, but anytime there's product stuff, I hate dealing with WordPress.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends. Like anything product e-com, Shopify kind of gets a bad rap in my space because a lot of people think it's bad for SEO. It's not ideal for SEO. They have a lot of issues like folder structures and stuff like that, but they can be overcome if you know what you're doing. WordPress is a little bit better on that sense. It's also like the reason why I choose to build on WordPress over Shopify. I had an e-commerce store that I sold, and I chose WooCom over Shopify because I had an agency. I had designers and developers who were both WordPress experts. Shopify is more of a hosted solution where it's a little bit more difficult to manipulate in terms of like design code, things like that. WordPress is more open source, meaning, pretty much everything that we're doing, we're building something custom, but I have the resources to do that because my developers on retainer that are just working on WordPress stuff. So I just don't have much expertise in Shopify. That's why I chose not to. But if I were to do another e-com store, 100% Shopify.
Yeah, their theme, I do run into that occasionally when it needs to be custom coded. Their liquid theme, I've run into a lot of developers having issues figuring that out and getting things to work correctly versus WordPress, and then just going in and editing the child theme or whatever, and it's pretty quick in terms of turnaround time and getting troubleshooted correctly. So I've seen some ads pop up on Facebook, on Instagram, and stuff like that for SEO for you. And then I think like the only other person that I've ever seen run ads for SEO is SEMrush, which they're more so like the tools necessary to help you do SEO. Who else in your space like does SEO? Like even nobody even advertises?
I mean, so look, it's mainly because of how the SEO industry works. I love it. It's a very vibrant, passionate industry. So if anyone in the SEO space is watching this, I'm not talking shit. I'm just giving my opinion on it. But it's a very different industry because, so when I first got started in SEO 10 years ago, it was basically to me where like the dropshipping space is now. A lot of young people like hustling courses, make money from home, quit your job type stuff, right? Because it was easy back then. But what happened was it got really hard, and then it became a very legitimate industry. Like, to me, SEO is just like design and development. It's something that companies have built into their budgets that they know that they need, right? So it's become a much more professional space, much more mature, which is great. It's a huge industry still, but as it gets harder and harder and harder, it gets more focused. Like, the majority of companies that get success in Google or organic are brands that have a lot of authority, have a lot of resources. Mm-hmm. Small guys aren't winning there anymore, which means a lot of people like myself ended up getting pushed into advertising and then like drop shipping, e-com, all that sort of stuff, right? Not there's anything wrong with that, but point being is that it's a much different industry. It's not so much like, I look at myself as a marketer, not an SEO. I do what's working now to make my company's money. That's all I care about. I give a shit if it's SEO or Facebook or whatever. As long as it's ethical and it matches the brand that I'm promoting, then I'm good with it. The SEO industry doesn't necessarily see it that way. In my opinion, they see a lot of advertising as, especially the way that I advertise, I like to throw in some humor. I like to get people's attention, right? Because I believe in what I'm selling. The SEO industry kind of looks down that a little bit. And they're also just not, they're good at SEO. They're not good at advertising. I think a lot of people, like I said, because it became a very professional industry, they stopped looking at ways to make money and they started focusing on just SEO. So it's not, which is great for me because I'm able to clean up with ads there because very few people are advertising. It also has a big negative impact because a lot of people are like, I'm an asshole. But I don't care. So yeah, I mean, very few people and very few companies too. Like, I've tried to kind of like pitch services to some of the companies that I think I could really get success with advertising with, and they don't really believe in it. It's like, they just don't believe in it. So it's just a different industry. It's not like the advertising and social media industry by any means. So
yeah, it's almost like their marketing department has to have some sort of round table and there has to be a need for it versus if you're just, kind of either cold calling, cold emailing, whatever. Now it just seems like, you're some guy in Pakistan trying to get a deal. So it's probably much, much more hard to do that versus running Facebook ads and generating a little bit of that awareness at scale.
I agree with you and disagree. I didn't mean to discredit advertising. I spend 95% of my time on content and advertising now and very little on SEO stuff. And advertising to me is just as hard, if not harder, because it requires so much more. It requires so much more than SEO, right? Mm-hmm. SEO to me, you have the technical, you have somewhat creative for content, and then you've got like link building. So it's kind of like technical and communications, right? Those are the major skill sets there. But advertising, it's the technical side of things. Dealing with all the stuff that you just talked about with like Shopify, GTM, pixels, all that fun stuff. But then you've also got like massive implications on creative, right? And organizational skills too, just managing an entire campaign end to end, communication, also like dealing with clients, like not wanting to put out the type of stuff that you want to put out. Like, to me, there's just a lot more that goes into successful ad campaigns than a successful SEO campaign, which is why I don't offer advertising as a service, because I haven't really been able to figure out how to scale that. Whereas SEO, I've got a very small team and we're at like 70% margins right now, just like craziness.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that you have to be, to be good and to keep like rising up above the ranks of all the other people that are out there in the competition and in like the paid social space, at least. You have to be like a full stack marketer at least and understand everything that's going on and not just, creating a good graphic or creating a good squeeze page. Or it's like, it all has to be working. And it's like almost like one of those rowboats with everybody rowing at the same time. If there's like everybody on the left side's rowing, you're just going in circles. Sometimes, when we have, like I do training sometimes with people, I offer that on Mondays. And whenever I have that, we'll run ads and we'll be like, okay, we'll go through everything. We'll launch the ads, we'll run them. And, I'm really good at running ads. I've been doing it for a while, but just because we're running ads and running them the way that they should be structured and everything is the way that it should be on there, doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to always have success with it. And ads will either tell you that really fast, that your website is broken or that your creative sucks really, really bad. And we find that a lot that, we're running good ads, but they're sending them to the website and it's like, okay, here I am. Like, just none of this stuff interests me. The ad was kind of cool. I clicked through and now all this other stuff sucks. And so then it goes into this whole other thing of, okay, you need to kind of go back to the drawing board and revise your website, get your call to action what makes you unique, and going into all that other stuff. And then maybe it's not a first time sale. You have to get them to opt in, and then you have to start kind of thinking on that. Now you're getting into the email marketing part with drip campaign and how you're going to structure that. And it can just like get really convoluted really fast.
Work, man. I mean, you just like kind of summarize in a nutshell why I don't want to work with clients. Like for the past couple of years, I've completely pulled myself out of client stuff because of that. Like all that time and attention. Imagine if you were focusing all that on just one product in one company or something that you were passionate about. I came to that realization. I was like, I cannot continue to give all of myself to other people's companies, you know, when I could be doing the same thing and building my own assets. I don't know. I mean, I still have an agency, but, you know, I basically hired like a COO, GM, managing partner, what have you. And I do some sales now and again. I'll like check in with like some of our bigger clients, but I just can't do it. You know, it's just too much for other people, for other people's dreams. That's like, to me, it's like worse than working a job. Like I wanted to quit my corporate job because I felt like I was waking up every day and building somebody else's dream who didn't give a shit about me. And it's the same thing with clients, but it's even worse because clients feel like, I don't know, because you're a contractor, they can talk to you however they want. Like if they wake up one day and they're feeling cranky, that they can, you know, treat you like shit. Like it's not like, nah, it's not the way this works.
So you do anything with Google Ads at all?
Nah, we've like, the past 2 years, I've like learned a lot from working with a bad business partner about what lack of focus can do to a business. Meaning if you're continuously trying to do too much, you're never going to do what you do best. But we only do SEO, and we only do a specific type of SEO too. Like the guy that you referred to me, like he wasn't a good fit for us. And people might think I'm an ass because I say, no, like we don't want to work with you. It's not, I don't want to work with you. It's that we're not fit to work with you. And me working with you is bad for both of us, but it's worse for my business because then we have to do custom work. We have to break our processes. Maybe I have to hire somebody new. You know, it's just, it detracts from our other clients by taking on a client that's not a good fit. So our agency, our agency is 100% focused on SEO. All of their work, I'll refer out, or just tell them we're not interested and just do SEO. We'll give a lot of consulting, just kind of general marketing advice. That's why a lot of people like to work with us, because we'll have a monthly call with all of our clients, and I'll usually join a lot of those, and I'll just continuously feed them insights about what they should be doing with email and stuff like that. So they do look at us kind of as a trusted partner, but we're only going to actually do execution work on SEO. So AdWords, no, none of it.
Gotcha. What about Amazon ads at all?
No, I just finally finished this book that I've been writing forever. It's just finished the hard copy. I'm recording the audio version this week, and I'm going to be setting up Amazon ads for that book. And from what I understand, it's actually really easy. I actually went through the interface, and it's so easy. I mean, like they don't even let you target; they just pick all the targeting for you, which is kind of cool. So I'll be playing with that, but I've never done it for like e-com. You know, again, I kind of stick to my lane. I dabbled in the e-com and Amazon space, but again, like it just sucked up so much of my time and energy. And from an objective point of view, when I was looking at how much I was making there versus how much of my time and energy I was investing there, you know, I'm really, my core competency is B2B, like lead generation, kind of long-term, like building equity that way. E-com is something that I've done before. I love it, but I didn't really get pushed down that path. So I haven't really touched Amazon ads. I played with Quora ads. I played with LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads. Really trying to figure out YouTube ads right now too, because I feel like that's the biggest opportunity for me. But I'm also at the point where I have just a guy that I brought in house that's doing all that for me too.
We just started offering Google ads, YouTube ads, paid search, and GDN because we used to just be solely paid social. But a lot of our clients, like you, were asking specifically just because social is so sexy and it's so visual. They've been asking on YouTube ads for a long time. And so just kind of out of necessity, but also just noticing that, you know, there's an area for us to increase our revenue if we can do it right and do it effectively. And so we're offering that now as well. But yeah, I mean, YouTube ads, there's such a different beast in terms of what you're trying to do. And if you can't measure them well and you're not patient, then you'll spend a good amount of money or you won't spend enough. But either way, you'll deem it as a loss. Man, I'll play music sometimes and stream like a lo-fi hip hop station or something like that, just as like background music. Because I always need to have like music playing somewhere in the background. My wife always gives me shit about that.
I'm the same way.
I'll play something like that, but then, oh my God, I get so many of the guru courses on YouTube ads. Like, and now I'm getting the YouTube ads back to back. So it's like, stop everything that you're doing, stop everything that and it's like, it's bad. And it's like, are you tired of not making this? It's like, oh my God. And then it's like, you get through that. And then it's like 2 more talking heads. And then it's like 2 more talking heads. And it's always the same thing. It's like zero creativity to any of that in terms of stopping people in their trends. Like, whoa, what's that? That's funny. Or,
yeah, it's a different beast. And I like that you guys are offering other ads, because what, like, to my point is that, you know, paid search is similar to SEO in that they're both search, but it's a different position for somebody who's ads versus SEO. But for you guys, to me, I like that, because now I'm also at the point where I haven't even come close to tapping out of Facebook and Instagram in terms of inventory bought. But, you know, as I see CPMs continue to rise there, and now that I also understand about how, like, I'm looking now at Quora, at YouTube, at Twitter, but it's too expensive, as cheap top funnel ads. So I do love GDN. I do love paid search. I think that if you're able to match those all into one, it's all advertising. It's all click-based advertising, you know? Whereas I agree with you though, YouTube, like, you know, I have to film different types of content. It feels very internet marketery when I'm filming it too, because you do have to, like, just the nature of how they built the damn platform. Like, you have to get like, you have 4 seconds to hook someone, then you have 30 seconds basically to get them to take action, you know? So what's happened is now there's a formula for YouTube ads, which is all optimized around that, right? So I think that long-term, and even probably right now, the best time is to start looking at other ways that you can extract value from YouTube that's not like that, because you'd really set yourself out. Like, to me, YouTube could be the best branding platform out there, because you don't get charged unless somebody watches 30 seconds or more of your video or clicks, which is crazy if you think about it. So if you're providing some sort of value for 29 seconds, we're talking about literally free advertising to your exact target customer, you know? So instead of driving them to take some sort of random action, you know.
It's like one of the ads that I get on there. It's like, this is free advertising.
It is. I mean, and that's the thing is that, like, I don't disagree with, I actually get hooked on a lot of those funnels, because since I sell training course myself, I'm always kind of looking and seeing what other people are doing. And, you know, to me, I don't necessarily have a problem with the advertising. I just think that people are selling crap on the back end. I think that if people work more in their courses, then to me, if I don't have a problem, like, I don't have a problem doing an ad like that for myself, because I believe wholeheartedly, if you take my product, if you take my training, it's going to make you money as an SEO company. I know that for a fact, right? So I feel more confident in going out doing that. But some of these guys are out here promoting just shit on a stick for a course, and then they're hooking them in with these spammy ads, which is kind of what destroys the whole industry in itself, you know? But, you know, YouTube just kind of put us in that situation, put people in the situation where you have to advertise like that in order to work within the constraints of that platform, where Facebook is much different, right? Facebook is completely different. The copy element is huge. The fact that you don't, like, I film a lot of video, but I also know that 50% or more of the people that see my Facebook ads, they probably don't even see the video. They're just reading the copy, you know? So YouTube, it's all about mashing those two together into a video. It's tough to do. And it's unfortunate that I agree that the state of YouTube ads is already right there, you know? And now everyone's doing it. But when everyone does something, man, that's an opportunity to do something different and really stand out, like I said. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the person that I've seen do it the best that I've seen so far, agency-wise, is Billy Jean, in terms of how his videos are. I mean, he does them well. The production value is always really good. There's a story behind it. There's a call to action. So all that stuff is pretty well planned out. I like the way he does those. Of course, the Harmon brothers, they do really good stuff as well. Massively expensive, but if you've got the budget, then, you know, they're awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Billie Jean kills it.
Yeah. You have any 2 o'clock call or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So, like, if you have an SEO, if you have a website and you're trying to get ranked pretty quickly, what's like 3 things that you would do? And I know that's a really loaded kind of question with, like, you know, industry product and all that stuff. But, like, let's just say I sell organic socks.
Okay.
Or I can give you another example.
No, that's fine. I can do organic stocks. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just need an example. I mean, like, honestly, man, I would tell people that, like, do your SEO as cheap as possible, because if you're starting a website right now in a competitive space, which it pretty much if you're selling anything online, it's going to be competitive. It's going to take years for you to get to where you want to be. Just because, like, the way that SEO works, like, I keep using the word equity, but that's the only way that I can describe it. It's like websites build up equity with Google, right? Equity meaning authority, coming from basically web mentions. Anytime that, like, Huffington Post talks about you, that Google sees that as a sign of authority. So imagine if you have a website that's been getting those mentions for 10 years, thousands of them, right? That builds up equity with search engines. You have to compete against that. Then you just have also just established brands that people are going out and searching for and just jumping over your website. And then you also have to compete with advertisement, just to shrinking real estate in Google. So like, number one is adjust your expectations, meaning don't come in here thinking that you're going to get traffic in the first year. You have to do the work to get the traffic. And the reason why it takes so long is because it's so damn worth it too. Like, there's nothing like free traffic and targeted traffic, right? So number one is adjust your expectations. And part of that too is don't go out and hire somebody and pay them $5,000 a month to do your SEO, when you could be doing the same things yourself for free. And then once you get to a point, then I think you go out and hire an agency who can come in and build on what you started. So the things to start with are just, like, number one is keyword research. Just, like, know what people are searching for and how they're searching for it. And just make sure that you have the pages on your website to speak to that, right? So going back to the stock example, if you're organic stocks, like, go to Google and type in organic stocks, see what comes up, scroll to the bottom of the page, see what the Google suggested searches are. Like, you don't need to pay for keyword research software. Google will tell you what people are searching for. There's also a keyword plugin that's free in Google. It's called WMS Everywhere. What it does is it's a Chrome plugin. You install it and it will tell you the monthly search volume of any keyword you type into Google. So it basically turns Google into a keyword research tool. It's all I use for keyword research. It's amazing. So again, you know how much people are searching for it. You pick the highest search keywords. You build your content around what people are searching for. Number three, off the back of that would be creating content. So your product pages are going to be focused on what are, like, bottom funnel pages. Like, so bottom funnel meaning when somebody is searching for buy organic stocks, they want to buy now. That's bottom purchase funnel. What you want to do is also build content on top of that for top funnel. So things like, again, if you're selling stocks, could be like top 10 stock trends for summer, or like best stocks for summertime. All that stuff. Just keep building content. And then finally, as I said, building up that equity and authority, what you want to do is you want to be getting other websites to mention yours and then link back to your website, meaning basically citing your website as a source of information with a backlink. So the best way for me to do that with a site like that is go out, find people to review your product, send your product for free, get them to write a blog post, find YouTubers, find Instagrammers, find bloggers, and just send them an email and figure out what it would take to get featured on their website. You know, so that's basically what a really good SEO company is going to do for you. You can do that. What's that?
Even those, like, three things, it's like, I just know, like, how much time that consumes with.
It takes a lot of time.
Even researching who you would send out stuff to, who you would do any kind of backlink to, and then you send that email out, and then, 80% don't even reply. Yep. And it's like all this wasted time researching people and all that.
Yeah, I mean, so look, that's why we leverage offshore talent very heavily. Like, we have an amazing offshore team that we're able to do all that for. Like, I have 2 people that are just supporting my companies that are just doing that. They're consistently finding people, and them, like, they're hitting me up on Slack being like, hey, here's a list of bloggers. Like, this is what they do. This is their following. Actually train them very well to, like, go in and do very advanced, like, persona research on them too. So we can, like, group them by persona, like what they might find of interest. So for example, if you have a list of 100 bloggers, we're doing this now for we just launched a WordPress plugin. It's a free plugin for WordPress. We're just trying to promote it. And what we're doing is he went out and found 100 YouTubers, like really big YouTubers that are talking about, like, WordPress, talking about stuff like that. And then what I trained him to do is go through each one of those channels, see what videos he's posting, and basically, like, building him, like, a decision tree, being like, if they don't have any content around WordPress, like, if they have videos around WordPress plugins, let's send them a pitch that is sending him ideas for like, top 10 WordPress plugins. Like we'll write the script for him. We're making it easy for him to create the video. And then he just has to mention us in the video as one of the plugins, right?
Yeah.
So we're basically helping him create content. So we're just going through and figuring out, like, again, these different value propositions that I train them how to do, that then we can, so when we're sending the email, like I agree, like I hate sending emails that don't get a response. And what that tells me is that the value proposition in that email was wrong, right? I mean, dude, everyone checks their email. If you have my personal email and you email me, I'm going to see it. But if I don't respond, it's because you sent a shitty email, So to me, the days of mass outreach are dead. We use cold outreach for sales, for link building, for a lot of different stuff, and it works very well. But it's because we're doing one-to-one research. Like we're not using any tools. We're sending emails one-to-one, and we're taking the time. Well, my team is taking the time to identify what that value proposition that I can send to them that's going to make them want to respond. So like if you just go through, and I agree it takes a lot of time, but if you train someone, I mean, we're paying these people like $7 an hour off Upwork, but I took the time to train them, and now, we're sending 20 emails a day to highly, highly targeted people and getting like a 70% response rate, because it doesn't feel like it's a mass outreach coming from Pakistan. They know, like, dude, if you email me and you're like, yo, Ryan, like, I went through your website, like you've got a really good blog post, you sent a link to it there. Just want to let you know, like this image is broken. Like I took the liberty of like fixing the image for you. Here it is. You can upload it. And I'll be like, thanks. And then once I say thanks, you can be like, oh, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Like do something that's going to help me out that doesn't require effort for me. A lot of people send outreach and they're like, hey, will you link to my blog? Or like, hey, do you want to jump on a call? Or like, hey, do you want to use my free software? Like, no, I don't. Like, no, I fucking don't want to do that. So you have to understand who's on the other side. Like it's people, they see it. And to me, that's the most impactful thing. Like we live in an era where it's so hard to get people to see stuff, your ads, your content, like all this stuff. But like people see their emails, if you have the right email, people will see it, assuming it's not going to spam. So it's just a matter of like if you walked up to someone at a bar and like started a conversation, like what would you say? It's the same thing. But you can do it from behind your computer screen. So to your point, it's a shitload of work, but like it's very effective. And like people are always looking for like cheap things to do, or like these are them. It just takes work and people don't want to put in work to do it. I don't want to do it either, but that's why I built an offshore team to help us out. And dude, it's fish in a barrel. Like it's one of our best tactics that we use,
Yeah. I see a lot of that on LinkedIn is the, hey, let's connect. And then you connect and it's like, appreciate the connection.
Yeah,
Did
dude.
you know that we're selling microphone stands here? Did you want to hop on a call here? Schedule your call, right? It drives me nuts. I don't even really get on LinkedIn much anymore.
No, for that reason, I don't check. Yeah. And that's a perfect example. I don't check LinkedIn messages, but what we do is, so we'll use LinkedIn to find people because we can cherry pick people by industry and location, but then we'll just find their email or we'll find their Instagram or their Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like Instagram DM is another really good one. You know what I'm saying? Like Instagram DM is a great way to connect with people, assuming that they use Instagram, I think that's how we met, like it's a very real way to connect with people. If like, for example, if you wanted to have me come on and talk to you, like you wouldn't be like, you build somewhat of a relationship with someone first, like by just being a person and chatting with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard. But people just don't do it because they're loud for whatever reason. But, and if you're scared of work, then like owning a business isn't for you, it's just like, it's a nonstop, just like shitstorm drinking from a fire hose. So,
last question here, and I'll let you go because it's been about an hour or so, and I appreciate you being on here and chatting. Your work day, what are your hours like?
Yeah. I'm up around anywhere between 5 and 6, usually somewhere in the middle. Get up. My dog gets up with me. I walk my dog, make some coffee, and then I'll like from 6:30 to like 9:30 is no one can get in touch with me. That's when I'm like deep work, whatever you want to call it. Like that's when I'm focused on doing the things that are the most important things that only I can do in my companies. Right. And I meticulously plan those things too, because that time is when 99% of my workday gets done. A lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in like the meetings and this and that, and they complain about it because they don't have a time blocked off where they can do work. Like a lot of people forget that like you are still the smartest person in your company. There's a time where like you need to put in your time to figuring out the big problems. Like today I was just working on our cold outreach this morning. That's why it's kind of like fresh in my mind. I just want to rant about it. But after that time I go to the gym. I'm usually at the gym from 10 to 11, 11:30, come back home, walk my dog. And then from 12 to 4, I'm on Zoom calls all day. And then after that, I'll walk my dog again, hang out with my girl, talk about dinner. And then sometimes I'll like jump back up on computer at like 7 if my girlfriend's working, and just like go through emails and Slack and stuff like that. But those 3 hours are like critical to my day. That's when pretty much everything gets done.
Gotcha. My work schedule's like probably flipped from that. It's like I'll usually get up around like 9 or 10 and get my daughter, FaceTime and all that stuff while my wife does, cooking breakfast and whatnot and hang out, and start to kind of work around like 10 a.m. Recently, we've stopped and trying to like block off all calls from like 12 to like 1, and go work out, and like force myself to go work out. Used to be in like super good shape, but having different businesses, and it's just like every day you want to be healthy, you want to eat right, but then it's like you got all these freaking fires to put out, and you end up just sitting in front of your computer all day, and then you eat bad. And so this year, trying to make a stop on that and get in a lot better health.
It makes a difference, man. I mean, I didn't talk about what I eat, but like my girlfriend gives me shit because I eat like a bird. Like I eat vegetables, and like I just.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was an athlete. I played football in college and stuff, but like I never took these things seriously until, again, I realized that like if I want to get myself to the next level, like I have to be better, in everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what you put into your body greatly affects how your mind works. Like that's just a fact. Like working out tremendously affects how your mind works and just everything, and feeling better and feeling more confident. Like you already know that, like if you're feeling confident going into a day, like it's just a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? When you're working on stuff and you're like, even when things go bad, you're like, it doesn't, like it's a dip. It doesn't matter. Like it's part of the game. Like these are the things, the little things that you do that make that difference. And like, dude, I was the same way. I used to be a night owl, I used to work nights, but like, and it was hard for me to start getting up. But like, once you do, dude, it opens up a whole day. You have 2 work days. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest piece, but I know it's hard and I'm not telling you what to do, but like, if you can get up early and get used to doing that, you literally have 2 work days. You know what I'm saying? You have that time where it's yours to work on exactly what you need, needs to get done. And then you can use your afternoon. And I mean, the gym is the hardest part to fit in. Like I'm fortunate that, again, I've been able to build my schedule over time. It took me a while to get my schedule like this, but to build my schedule over time, to be able to block off 10 to 12 with nothing on my calendar for just working out and like, again, taking my dog out, I'm like big on like taking breaks and stuff like that. It's really hard to do, man, but like, holy shit. I mean, like if you can commit to doing that, like I promise you will see a massive difference. And like I said, I've always been a night person. Like it was really hard for me to do, but I mean, it was a realization that I made. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing well, but I know that I could be doing so much better. And it's me, I'm standing in my own damn way from not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's nobody else stopping you from doing these things. Like the one thing I learned from football is that you can't control shit in this world except for your effort. That's the one thing that you got that you can control, and how you approach things and how you treat yourself, how you treat your day. Like this is the difference between like, running a good e-commerce company and fucking Amazon. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that these people have figured out that they have beaten over their head. Like you look at a Kobe, you know what I'm saying? Like same thing, like that mentality of like how you approach everything in life. Like it makes a difference between being a good basketball player and being one of the best of all time, because most people don't do that shit,
Where do you work out at?
So my buddy, I'm fortunate of like one of my really good friends here in Miami just opened a gym. Really dope concept. Actually, it's private. It's personal training, except there's 4 people in there at a time. So they don't charge. It's only $20 a session, which is amazing. So I've been going there now for a couple of months, really enjoying it. I go there 4 days a week, Wednesdays off. And then on the weekends, I'm just a very active person too. Like I said, I was an athlete, being in Miami too, the weather's amazing. So I'll ride my bike on the weekends. Going to go kayaking tomorrow. I like to be outside. So it's not overly hard for me.
Yeah, I've always been a 24-hour fitness. I've had this like ridiculous plan from there forever since like that I got like 2006, where you buy your package and then it renews every year for like $12 or something.
Yep.
And so it's like some ridiculous. So I'll always have that. But my wife started going to F45, and so she wanted me to go with her one time. I went, and I liked it because it was like 45 minutes. I leave my phone in my car, and you don't have time to. That was one of the things like I'm worst at lately, especially with running businesses, is that I'll look at it like I'll just look at my email randomly, and then I'll look at something and I'll feel like it needs a reply or something like that. And then now I'm like sitting on, bicep curl machine, and I'm like replying back, and some guys like, machine.
Yeah. That's like a boot camp at 45.
Yeah. It's like, I think Mark Wahlberg co-owns it or something like that. But it's 45 minutes. They have these like pre-planned workouts already. You go there.
Those are awesome.
It's like circuit training, 40 seconds, stop for 20 seconds, and then you're literally gone in 45 minutes. And so that works perfectly for me because I don't have a lot of time during the day to get this stuff done. So I can just go there, drive, and then be done back home, and it's literally like an hour. Yeah.
That's what I was doing before my buddy opened up. I was going to this boot camp class, and it was like 50 minutes. And same thing, dude. I mean, you go in there, you burn like 1,200 calories really hard. You're getting like all like cardio and weight workout. And yeah, dude, within an hour and 15-minute turnaround from like leaving my desk to being back at my desk. That's 100% the way that you have to go. You know, like you trying to go to like a gym. I'm a motivated person, but I go to the gym and I sit there. I'm the same thing. I'm on my phone. Like if I don't have some sort of accountability from a class or a trainer, then it's a wrap. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong too, is they think that they can do it themselves. And I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying it's a lot harder when you have a million things going on to also like, we only have so much willpower in the day, and to like use that all on like forcing yourself to work out every day is really hard. But like, dude, accountability for everything, but accountability for working out, especially like when you have, like, especially if you're going with your wife, like that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like you hold each other accountable, you both go. That's how you make it a habit. And then once you make it a habit too, like you don't feel right when you don't work out. You know what I'm saying? It becomes one of those things that's so part of your routine, and like your body just craves it. Like it's just good for you, and your body knows that. So like once it's amazing once you get to that point where you're like, damn, like I gotta go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like I gotta work out. I gotta like expel this energy. Because if you sit there also and you're trying to work and use your mind when your body's like all wound up, it's like my dog. Like if I don't walk that little fucker, like he goes crazy, you know? Like we have to expel that energy. And if you don't, then it comes out as like anxiety, you know, like 20 browser tabs open, you know what I'm saying? It's just hard to focus.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to it at first because it seemed like, I don't know, I've worked out, I'm an athlete, like I've worked out my whole life and I know what to do in order to build. But going to a boot camp seems like I've never worked out a day in my life, and like I'm picking up like a medicine ball, and like I don't know what I'm like. So that was my vibe of it, but it was pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, man. I know the feeling, because the class that I would go to was like 90% girls. Not that it was bad when I was single, but it was like 90% girls. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing something good for you. Who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks about it? But yeah, man, good for you. It's really hard, man. It's like I went through that too when I first started my first agency. Same thing, except I was also going through like a breakup. So it was like extra. I felt like I had to like work to like make through it. So I was working just like 18 hours a day, stopped working out because I was like, I got to get through this. Like I'm in the grind mode, blah, blah, blah. And and I agree, like you have to go through that. But like once you get to the point where you've got some people around you, and even so, like I wish I didn't really let myself go to, because dude, I put on like 25 pounds, just mentally unhealthy too, you know, eating garbage, and it takes a toll on you, man. It wears you down.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, like it's easy to be short-sighted as an entrepreneur, thinking that like you have to grind it out, which you do, like, but there's a difference between like working hard every day and knowing how to work hard and working towards the right things versus just like burning yourself out and letting your entire life go, because it catches up with you. Because like I said, dude, if you're not in shape physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like it has a massive impact on your work, you know? Like if your relationship is a mess, like you're constantly fighting with your significant other, like that has an impact on your work. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is you're constantly fighting during the day, you're texting each other mad, like it's detracting from your thought. It's the same thing. Like I just had a really messy breakup with my last company. And dude, the amount of like bullshit that put on my plate and how much that took away, I'm like, it's not even worth it to go through a lawsuit, because if I have to be constantly berated with the stuff every day, I can't focus on moving forward and growing my companies. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to like kind of optimize your life around like cutting that stuff out and just being healthy, just top to bottom. And like the quality of the work that you will put out and what you will get done is like tenfold, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes you get that with like bad clients that you only find that later on. And like every day you're just like waiting for like a blow up in Slack or like, and it's just like, God, it's ridiculous. Like weighs on you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the client services business, man. I 100% feel you on all that. You know, clients, like I said, clients are like, they're like little crackhead babies. Like one day they're like, this is amazing, you're the best. And then the next day they're like, what the fuck? It's just, you never know what's going to happen, man. Never a dull moment. It's part of the business.
I'll wrap this interview up. So again, if you want to reach out to Ryan, head over to Webris, and there'll be a link on here. It's Webris, WEBRIS.org. Do you have the .com?
No, I don't. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you.
Okay. So Webris.org. There'll be a link in the bottom there. But Ryan, I appreciate you hopping on here and shooting the shit with me, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Well, we'll see you.
All right, brother.